Alrighty, what's going on, everybody? This is a cool one. Actually, I had so much fun. I don't know if you guys know, but I create the thumbnails for these every week, and I had so much fun creating this one and working with AI. I tried to get it to do online courses above at like a carnival. It came out and said online courses, but I kind of like that because we are going to be talking a little bit today about. Uh, oh shoot! I got this playing in the background.
I know
I
that's
hope
why I
that
muted myself. Yeah,
that may have came through the mic. My bad.
little bit of feedback. No worries, they'll forgive
All
you.
right,
Right?
cool. But yeah, no, what's so awesome about it, and what we're going to talk about is like, how do you decipher a good online course or a bad online course? Because online courses, at least for me, was the Wild West. When I think back on my experience before even purchasing one, I never spent money on anything intangible. Like I couldn't bring myself to do so. When I think like, okay, going to drop $1,000 on some course, yeah, I could learn valuable information, but I could also buy a computer with that $1,000 bucks. So that was a really difficult thing for me to understand. Is not just with like coaching, but with courses, all this type of stuff that you're really investing in yourself. And so when you can best understand what a good course is and what a good investment is for yourself, what you get out of it is unbelievable. So I had been in this space for quite a long time, just kind of watching in the background. There was a period of time where essentially I would cater my days around when my favorite creators were doing live streams, and so I'd make sure that I was always watching their stuff, and I loved it. And I would see that they were pushing out different courses and things like that, but it was always like a little too much for me to stomach. Whether it be like $700, $800, or like $1,000, I couldn't wrap my head around that intangible investment. But I eventually, I was following MLD, Modern Life Dating, and during lockdown, during the pandemic, he had released a course, Pandemic Pickup, and it essentially was like a walkthrough of dating apps and how to still be successful even with the world locked down. And this was only $299, and I was like, okay, $299. I'm gonna get the course. Like, yes, I know how to be successful on dating apps, but I not just I get this course, but I also get a community. So like he had a Telegram group and a whole bunch of other stuff. So I'd get introduced to a heck of a lot of other guys for the entire year. And so I jumped on the opportunity. And it was the best $300 I have ever spent. A lot of those guys, that's actually how I got into this stuff, is because I found through that I was able to help coach and guide other guys who were going through difficulties when it came to dating, and to get them the success. And it's actually how I started my first community. Led me to create Men of Now with Jaron and the rest of the guys, and it's just been absolutely fantastic. And then through there, once I dipped my toes, then I felt a little bit more comfortable to dive into online courses. Now, that's not to say that every online course that I've ever bought has netted any type of value, because there have been plenty that I have bought that are just waste of money. I mean, the most important things is you need to take accountability for yourself. If you're going to sign up for an online course, you got to do the work. Most people that sign up for the courses and there's coursework that comes along with it, they just don't do it. And then they get frustrated or complain of it being a waste of money, but they never put in the time. It's the same thing with school. If you're not doing the homework and then you have a 0% on that 20% weight on your grade, well, yeah, no shit, you can't get an A in this course. And if anything, if you're not perfect in everything else, you're going to get a C. So you need to do the work to be successful in any course. But at least that's my intro. Before we dive deeper in, I'm going to go ahead and pull Joel in here. What's going on, brother?
What's up, brothers?
Well, I'll leave it to, I guess I'll move to you, Jaron. What has been your experience with online courses? Like, how did you even dip your toes? How did you get into it?
All right, my experience with online courses. So much like you, I was a bit wary from the get-go. I thought it was kind of scammy. I thought it was snake oil salesman E, if that's a word. And coming from more of a traditional academic background, I always fancy myself an academic, always did really well in school. You mentioned the guys that always got A's. I always got A's, really didn't have to try that hard. And I felt at the time that, okay, well, if it's not an officially sanctioned academic program, then it's really not worth much. Of course, getting into the workforce and realizing that pretty much everything I do in my career now has nothing to do with anything I ever learned in school. It's all stuff that was self-taught along the way as I needed it. I started to shift that model, that mental model that I was operating on internally just a little bit. So I was really kind of off put by the idea for the longest time. However, I pulled the plug years ago and joined a private community of guys looking to level up, more entrepreneurial level type guys. And there's a guy in that community at one point who was selling a course. It was a $5,000 business coach mastery course. And I don't know how I ended up doing it. I think he was a really good sales guy too. So I think he just got me right when the time was right. I was like, you know what, screw it. I'll go ahead and do it. Got into the course, really felt remorse immediately for thinking, oh my God, this is $5,000. I've never spent at that time I was buying cash cars for $5,000. So that was a big purchase for me. However, as I went through the material, I realized really quickly, and I took about a month to go through it. It was very comprehensive. And yes, it did help me in the business sense, but really it offered me a lot of internal frameworks. It offered me a lot of learning models, what it motivates people, why people do the things they do, how people develop belief systems, how people architect their belief systems. So really it got a lot deeper than just the business stuff. And at the time, I never really thought that, I didn't get my money's worth, but it was still really hard for me to stomach until I started internalizing what I learned from that course and putting it into action. So within a year of doing so, my income roughly tripled. So at that point, it was pretty obvious the course was a damn good investment. However, it was hard for me to reconcile with that former academic model of, okay, well, I need to go through the degree program. All of this content is curated. It's set out by people that know what they're doing, that have a lot of fancy letters next to their names, and it's peer reviewed. In the course thing, I really thought that it was more of the wild, wild west. However, once I started getting a lot of value out of that first one I bought, and the first one was $5,000. So after that, $1,000 course, okay, that's nothing. $2,000, yeah, whatever. I think after that, from that same guy, I bought another course from him for $3,000. It was called the Alpha Playbook. And again, it was really just about updating my internal operating framework in regards to topics like dating and finances and fitness and just creating an overall lifestyle. And guys, if you've done a coaching session with me before, a lot of the stuff that I use in my coaching sessions is stuff that I've learned or picked up from other coaches and other courses. So I've known that really, and sometimes even now just talking about it, it is hard to reconcile that fact. However, I'd be doing a disservice, or I'd be intellectually dishonest if I said I haven't gotten a lot out of these. It's the contrary. I've gotten a ton of value out of these courses. That's why I've gotten to the point where I was like, I'll start doing coaching too. I'll start creating some of my own courses because I know personally the experience that I've gotten. However, it does take that initial step to just pull the plug on that first course and say, you know what, I'm going to trust the process and I'm going to go with it. For me, I think a lot of times it comes down to, is this person living the way I would like to live in that area of his or her life? And if so, then I'll just go ahead and do it. And in my experience, I've had fantastic experiences from courses. I don't think I've ever bought one that I thought, I didn't really get as much out of it as I was hoping to. Again, to the contrary, I need to know something. I need to know it very fast. I'm more of a systems and structures guy. So I want a framework that works, upon which I can build and I can make it my own. I don't necessarily have 4 years to go through a degree program anymore. I'm older. I've got a lot going on. So for me, just to spend a couple $1,000s and then not only get the knowledge, because the knowledge is free, it's all out there, but what you pay for in a course is well organized information to where you can just take it, pretend like it's a file, your brain's a hard drive, you just take out your old operating system, boop, and then pop a new one in there, and then just go to work in the world, and you see very quickly how the world responds to you to know whether you got your money's worth or not. But in my personal experience, I've made good investments with my courses. I've always been a huge fan of education and self-improvement. I know a lot of guys that I've talked to in the past, coaching services, group memberships, even some of my courses. Well, I don't know, it's $1,000. And that's sad. If you don't think you're worth $1,000, then, you probably shouldn't waste your time with me. But me, I take myself seriously. I think I'm worth it. I don't think I'm worth it. I know I'm worth it. And every time I invest in myself, I always get ridiculous ROI.
I really like that, like framing it that way. I hadn't really thought about that. Like, it's not, can you afford $1,000? Am I worth $1,000? Because that's the real question. Am I worth it? And I would say yes. I mean, most people are. Most people are worth a hell of a lot more than that. And if you want to continue to level up in life, you've got to make those investments in yourself. I mean, a lot of people tend to, either go the comfortable route and just get that basic 9 to 5 job, keep doing that, put money in the 401k, everything's going to work itself out. And that's fine. Then there's other people that, want to do a little bit more, but they want to do it on their own. And you can't do everything on your own. Like there's so many experiences that other people have had that you have never had and you never will have, but you could still learn from. And I think that's what's so beautiful about the internet and these online courses. When you find good teachers, good people out there, you can really expand yourself in ways you never would have thought imaginable.
Yes, absolutely. It's it's an opportunity to change your life by just going online nowadays. So for myself, yeah, I wish I had Jaren's experience with courses. My first course was through TripAdvice. So he's been on the channel before. We've all kind of met him before, and he does men's dating coaching. So I signed up for his dating program, and in signing up for his one-on-one coaching, I got access to his community and his paid course that comes with coaching. And it was actually a really good course. Like, I'm not going to lie, it was nice. One of the big things that I liked about his is that he had examples where he failed. So he had, cold approach examples where he got rejected. And I thought he was just like this guy on top of the pedestal. And I'm seeing him just getting shut down by beautiful women. I'm like, okay, it took the pressure off myself. So I thought that was a great course. The next course I got was a $5,000, $5,600 actually, real estate course on how to sell houses. I got my license last year. I was so excited. I'm like, dude, I'm going to tear up Madison, Wisconsin, and make all my financial dreams come true.
How many houses have you sold?
I think -2. So
you actually bought them. They sold you.
Yeah. I made $0. And I remember when I told my real estate agent, or not agent, the firm I was working with, I'm like, hey guys, I got this online course from this guy from YouTube. And like, oh, that's kind of cool. No one's ever done that in the firm before. How much was it? I was like, oh, it's $5,600. And the look on their face was just like they just saw a ghost. They're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, guys, I got this. Like, trust me. This guy's on YouTube. He's got a lot of followers. And it was a good course, to be honest. It was just the wrong time because the market crashed. So, and the way they pitched it too was, okay, you're going to get one-on-one coaching, which wasn't true. You get group coaching, and you can have a talk with the person. So that was a lie. And that was the main reason I got it. The second thing they promised was that, you're going to get X amount of leads, but they didn't mention that you have to be living in LA or a city with millions and millions of people. So I asked for a refund, and they said no. Now that sounded a little bit blamey, and I understand, as I said, I'm fully responsible for that $5,600. I didn't do the research. I didn't dive deeper. That's on me. And it was a painful lesson because there was many times after that, I'm like, dude, I would kill for $5,600 right now. That would absolutely change my life. And I spent it on a real estate course. So now I find that when somebody does offer a course, they have to say, exactly what you're going to get from it. They have to be someone I know, like, and trust, and they have to, give what they're promoting, basically. And that's really what I look for now. I haven't bought a course since then, to be honest, but I think if you find the right person, you can find absolutely great value. Casey Zander, another guy in the space, he has a fantastic course that I actually did invest in. And that was really worth it because basically the way I see courses is they're like prolonged YouTube videos. Like, you watch a YouTube video, it's 13 minutes. You're like really getting into the meat, and they're like, all right, guys, thanks for watching. With the courses, you get hours and hours of basically YouTube content. That's the way kind of my brain processes it. So I think they're great investments if you find the right people that offer what they actually say that they offer.
And I would say, building off of that, and based on what D'Angelo is saying here, I think what's so powerful about some of these courses is is it just course information, or what else comes with it? And if you get community, if you get some of that involvement, let's say, for example, you have multiple Zoom webinars that you can be involved with, and getting like a large group together and get that personalized coaching from whoever the instructor of the course is. Absolutely phenomenal. And as D'Angelo says here, I paid $3,000 for an online sales course. If I didn't pay for that course, I wouldn't have got the offer I'm on now and meet you guys. Taking action can open doors or give experience, good or bad. 100% agree. We learn from mistakes and we celebrate the wins that we get. And I love that about courses. I think that courses that have that engagement level, some form of community that goes along with it, are the best ones out there, because that's really where you're going to learn. Like, because if you think about it, let's say you've got a course, 200 people are signed up for it, and you have one instructor. It's going to be difficult to develop a relationship with that instructor and get as much information as possible, so you can get additional information from others in the class. It's the same type of thing that I think of like with college, is like, make
Yep.
friends with the really smart kids, and then you don't need to go bother the teacher during their whatever tutor hours or whatever those hours were, when you could go into their office and talk about certain things. Instead, leverage the community right there. Leverage the other students that are in the course.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing about college. Again, I was pretty good at college without trying too hard. And I used to always think at the time too, well, okay, I can buy these textbooks on my own. Granted, it's kind of a racket. You pay hundreds of dollars for a textbook, even if it's used, and then the professor revs it up the next semester or year to where you have to buy the new version. You can't get it used in the bookstore. That's back when I was in school. I know a lot of it's online these days, but still, I'm guessing they run likely the same model. And I used to always think, okay, well, I can go through the textbook and do this myself. But it got to a point in college, for my entire master's degree, I never bought a single textbook for the entire program, because what do? You get access to the professor, you engage in the class discussions. And like Huds, you said, is a lot of the information you get is from other people in the class. Okay, we're going to present this core concept today. The professor gives you their lecture, their spiel, or whatever it is, and then they lead a discussion to where you can go much deeper into the topic. So I found that really in most of the modern online course frameworks that I've purchased in my experience, it's much like the experience I got in college, to where I didn't get any value out of really reading the textbooks. For courses I've done or for stuff I've done out there, you can find it all on my YouTube channel. Like, if you want to learn how to drop 100 pounds and get a six-pack and keep it all year round, you can find that if you go through all of my videos. But it's going to take you a long time to go through it, to parse it out, put it back together, and then structure it in a way that makes sense. Whereas in college, I believe the value was that you have an expert and they just facilitate that process. They provide a framework that you follow, and then through the discussions, you really get to get into deeper layers. And for me, I think that's why I've had personally such good experience with courses, because that's exactly what I'm looking for. That's exactly how I learn.
Yeah, dude, I learned jack in college. I learned so much more online courses, man. And I think there's so many great actually avenues now that, you're sparking some memories. Like, I used to produce music, and music producers always come out with courses, and you can learn all their secrets for from a professional DJ. So I really got into those, and those are really helpful too. And I actually ended up dropping out of music school because I'm like, I can just learn all this online. So yeah, if I could go back, I would just say, like, one mistake I made was going to school. If courses, and I empathize with like my parents, for example, they didn't have courses, right? So they had to go to school. Nowadays, if I want to learn anything, I just hop on YouTube or hop on, YouTube University, man. Or Sobriety University, quick plug. But
Yeah. What's the saying? Don't let school get in the way of your education.
Yes,
I like that one.
Yeah. Yep. School.
No, that it really is crazy. Like, I think that the biggest thing, if I look back on my life now, so I'm only 30 years old. Some people will call that young. I call that very old. As soon as I hit 30, I had medical issues. I was bedridden. I'm an old man now, so it's tough for me. But
the older I get, the younger I feel. I'm 36.
So when I look at that and I look back on my entire experience and like where I learned what, really I found that high school really taught me organization. I went to a private school, and yes, that did cost money. And I think back on it, and what it taught me was how to leverage other people to get work done. So essentially, when you think of like you have all these different courses and you have homework for everything, well, you can leverage certain things so that you don't have to do homework for some of your classes. There are specific ways to do certain things like that. I wouldn't necessarily call it cheating. I think it's just being smart. And so that was a lot of what I learned, is organization and time efficiency there. And then as it went on, college really just taught me interacting with women and social skills, it didn't teach, like, I just didn't learn a lot of valuable stuff from what was being taught to me. And again, it compounded on that all those social skills and being time efficient. Like, I think about so many different projects and huge things that I had that I was able to get done and do great on, that I don't know really anybody else in the world that would have been able to do so. And it's because you have a certain mindset towards the task that you have. And then after that, really the most important thing I've learned is just the past 5 years alone is just truly understanding people. That's what it's been for me. Like, after being in the workforce and meeting so many different people online, being a part of these different communities, understanding people like to another level, just like understanding like the way that people think, just based off of the way that they talk and the way that they act and all of that type of stuff. And that's not, those are the most valuable skills in the world that you do not learn in school. Like, maybe
Right.
a little bit you'll learn it like in those group projects, things like that. If you get involved in clubs, yes, you get more exposure to it, but you don't really learn that until you're in the midst of stuff. Like, I mean, hell, I've worked for companies where it's almost like you're in high school, like, as they kind of make that joke. It's like, oh, back in high school, like the bullying and
Yep.
the pushing other people
The
out and
clicks.
the clicks, dude. Oh my God, the drama. And it's just like, what are we doing here? Like, how are we spending time? How are we spending at least a third of our day talking about drama about work instead of doing work? Like, what is going on here? And so, like, seeing all those things and how the world really is has been the most explosive thing for me. And you know what? Maybe a part of that is because I started to do courses and get involved with communities of people from all around the world, because it just opened my eyes to like how different everybody thinks. But at the end of it all, we're all just
Right.
trying to live our own lives.
I've noticed
Yeah.
that public school and even undergraduate, a lot of it's memorization recall, which is a terrible way to learn. I was fortunate that I went to undergraduate. Most of my studies were done abroad down here in Mexico. And I know a lot of people think, oh, Mexico, you know what kind of education they have. But I went to a private school down here. So I got a superior education than anyone I know in U.S. undergrad. In fact, going back to the U.S. and getting into the workforce, I always thought, where'd you go to school? Oh, I went to Purdue. I went to Yale. I was like, dude, I went to La Autónoma de Guadalajara, and my educational level is far higher than yours, vastly superior. The private education I got abroad. And it wasn't until I went into my master's program in the US where for the first time in my academic career, I was with my intellectual peers, people that were at my level. And that was really nice because we were like-minded, and it was a very niche course at a very, very small private school, very good school in the Pacific Northwest. And I realized that, okay, well, maybe this is what I like about the course structure, because when I buy courses, they're very specific things I need to learn right now. So you get people in there that are just like you, whereas in high school, okay, yeah, any idiot can go to a regular high school. Undergrad, okay, the degradation of U.S. education is a real thing. Most people in undergraduate school have no business being there. They are not at a college level IQ or academic prowess. They're just not. And that's really tough. And then I think, like Hud said, it does prepare you for the workforce, because like I remember college group projects for the couple of semesters I was in the US. I knew I was going to do all the work, and there'd be guys and they really wanted to help out, like some of the athletes. Hey, Jeff wants to really help out, but Jeff has like a Forrest Gump level IQ. So what are we going to do with Jeff? Okay, Jeff, you can do all the citations and then all the references and then just not get in my way. And it was me and usually one other girl. We just do all the work, and then everyone else, what do you want us to do? Just not show up. Don't do anything. You're going to hold us back, and we'll just put your name on the paper. And that's, you know, that's exactly how the world works. That is how the corporate workforce works. Even if you start your own business, that's how it works. It's the Pareto principle, where 10% of people produce 90% of the outcome. It's exactly like that in every facet of life. So for me, I like online courses because I get people exactly like me in there. There's not a bunch of fence sitters. There's not a bunch of people sitting on their hands. You'll get flies on the walls. These are the same guys that they'll get really excited. They'll buy the course. They won't do shit. And then they'll say, well, I didn't get much out of it. Like, oh, okay. Well, you're like Jeff. You're the guy that really shouldn't even be in here. But that's fine. Just get the hell out of our way. But for the most part in the courses I've purchased online, you get guys exactly like you. They're fired up in life. They're interested in these very niche topics the same as you are. For example, dating type courses. You're not going to learn that in college. Yeah, you learn like human sexuality 101, but it's taught by some fat, overweight, effinist professor who can't get laid. So do you really want to learn sexuality from someone that you wouldn't want to fuck? No.
Bro,
Okay.
bro,
Do you want to learn?
I
Do you want to learn
I took
finance from
101.
someone who has tenure and doesn't have any money? No. Do you want to learn physical education from someone? I had a PE teacher in middle school, 100 pounds overweight, Mr. Colson. He would literally ride on a 3-wheeler as we're running the mile on the track. I'm like, bro, you shouldn't be teaching physical education.
You're making that up.
I'm not making it up. I'm not making it up. No, not at all. I'm not that creative, guys. No, I'm not making it up.
I took sexuality 101 in college, and it was a larger feminist woman who taught it.
Yep.
Yeah, you're just not going to get the right information. And
No.
you know, one thing I love this point too. This kind of a side tangent, but you know, one thing that people don't like realizing is that online courses are consistently evolving and are rarely ever finalized. That's an interesting one, because if you know that may also make you not buy into a course because you're waiting for the final version, but the final version never actually comes. And
the price goes up each round.
And the price goes up each round. It's better to get in early and start learning than it is to wait for a perfect product, because as you said, and the price always goes up. But yes, it's interesting. We're all building. Like it's crazy to see that, you know, these instructors in these online courses, where they were a year ago to where they are now and how they evolved their courses. Like, you know, I'm going to go back to the MLD example. You know, he initially didn't do a lot of promotion for his stuff. It was just his hardcore followers that are listening, like those of you out there right now. And then as things leveled up, he started doing professional commercials for his course launches, like hiring a film team and actors and actresses. And he would do a whole 1 minute, 2 minute long little sketch as promotion for the course. I think he may have done some up to like 5 minutes long, and it was amazing. But that only comes with time, and it also comes with a higher price tag at the end of it all. And D'Angelo, just building off that, the information will be there, but in most cases, just like college, you have to do outside research on your own to corroborate what you're learning to get the best and the results for yourself. That is so true. Everything you're learning, you need to actually be doing the work. You got to test it. If you're just going to sit here and listen to what one person says, yes, it may be good information, but it may not be the perfect fit or mold for you. And so it's important to always constantly, you know, continue learning, not just from one person, but from many.
And a lot of information in these courses you can't put out there publicly. So, for example, let's say in the finance industry, there's a lot of regulations, layers of restrictions to where you can't start really giving investment philosophies or strategies. Even if you do have the licenses, usually that has to live behind a paywall, because if you put it out there to the mass market, anyone can take your so-called strategy, screw up on it, and then you have major liability. For the type of stuff I talk about, I know I can get a bit boisterous sometimes on these public forums, but I'm constantly holding myself back. There's not a lot I can say on YouTube that matches my reality. I can give you just the tip of the iceberg, but when you start getting behind the paywall, like the private community, for example, then guys that are in the group, you know, we'll get on a weeknight call, and then I'll just sit back and riff and then really let you know how the world works. But we live in this safe world theory to where you can't do that publicly. It's unfortunate. I would like for the world to not be that way, but I'm not God, and I'm not going to change that. So we deal with the world using the tools we have. And I think doing the course thing is a fantastic way to get behind that. Also, too, guys, you have your content creators. You realize that, okay, we're giving you a lot of value for free out here. And then the way you get closer to someone, I've learned this in the corporate world too, and in academia, is you add value. So, for example, if we're adding a ton of free value up here and you want to get more value from us, then usually in the way of money is the easiest way to do it in the modern world. The more you pay, the more access you're going to get to that information. And you're not going to have to listen to 3 hours of podcast going back and forth and censoring ourselves. You can just get to the framework. Hey, here's how you fuck a chick. Here's how you make her squirt. I'm probably going to demonetize my channel just saying that. But there's an entire module in a recent course I did where we do exactly that. And there's no holds barred. There's no censorship. There's no whatever. You're going to get exactly what you need to know. So then you can move on with your life and then have that part of it fixed.
Fast to mouth.
Love that. Yeah. No, that's great. We got somebody else here. What's going on, Bentley?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Bentley.
Going good.
Cool.
Yeah,
this is my first time using this room and this audio, so let me know if it sounds okay.
Are those Lucha Libre masks, or is that like
100%.
trophies from serial killer victims?
Yeah, no.
A bit of both.
A little both.
So-
Keepsakes, yeah.
I just rented an office in a co-working place here, and I'm in Calgary,
cool.
Alberta. And one of the rooms is inspired by Stu Hart, who is the father of Brett and Owen Hart.
Oh yeah.
They had Stampede Wrestling, so this room is all dedicated. There's posters of them on the wall, their books and stuff like that. So it's really kind of cool.
What's the
It's
temperature
funny,
in Calgary right
we're
now?
in Mexico. I would guess that you're in Mexico right now.
Yeah.
not us.
Yeah,
Yeah, it looks like the little tiki shops down here, the little trinket shops.
yeah. I know they have these everywhere down there. So when I walked by, that's what I thought it was at first, and then I started reading
Yeah.
the plaques on
Like
the wall.
live from Canada, and then I'm in Mexico City, and people always think it looks yellow like the movies. Nope, there's the sky. It's blue. It's always blue.
Sky's blue. Yeah.
Blue.
Always hot. It's so hot up here.
Yeah,
Face
we're
is
good
red,
now.
Yeah.
It's you asked what it was like. It's plus 10 here today. We've had some pretty nice weather. Yeah, guys are riding motorcycles yesterday and today, but it's supposed to go to crap next week, so we're enjoying it while we can.
I'm going
Yeah.
to Canada for my first time in a couple weeks here. I'm just going to Montreal, but I don't know. I don't know with the weather. Like they complain about it all the time. I get pictures from them in group chats of random times they get snow. I don't really know what to expect with Canada, but it seems to be all over the place.
It's
Well,
30
Montreal
degrees
is-
Celsius today, so I'm gonna go swimming after this. I know you're flipping me off under the camera. I know you, Bentley.
100%. All day long.
Yeah.
Yeah, you bet.
That's why I had to throw it out there.
Yeah. So, Huds, you're going to Montreal. First of all, I'll say Montreal is in Canada, but it's not really Canada. It's a very different city compared to the rest of Canada. I would advise wraparound sunglasses because the Quebec women are they have no problem dressing up and expressing themselves. They get dressed to the nines to go to work. So it's
Nice.
very
Road
different.
So why are you telling me to not look at them?
Oh no, I'm not telling you to not look at them. I'm telling you to put sunglasses on.
Oh,
it
so
may
they
be a
don't
little
see me looking at them.
distracting. Exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah, a chin strap to hold the jaw closed. Just
like
looking out
that.
for you.
Are they
I
at least
like that.
receptive there, or are they kind of? Because there are places in Canada and the U.S. especially where they'll show themselves off, and you see the memes all the time. The girls wearing pretty much nothing at the gym, and then don't look at me. Like,
Yeah.
hey, I came to the gym to train. I'm not at the gym looking at you. I'm in my own head mapping out my workout, but you just happen to get in front of my sight line.
Yeah. I was
At
staring
least
off
they're
into
receptive.
space. You have to be sitting in front of me at the machine across from me. Like, that's not really my fault.
Yeah, it's not
I
my
went-
fault.
I went and worked out with a girl the other day, wore like the little top and the little bottom. It's pretty much like she was in a bathing suit. She's like, oh, like all these guys are always looking at me. I was like, you do that intentionally. You realize that, right? Because I have a pretty good build too, and I show off my muscles, especially when I have like a good gym pump going. I do that intentionally. You know, like, if I know that, then you know that. You know what you're doing. You've been getting look. I mean, you're hot, so you've been getting looks since you're fucking a young thing. Like, don't pretend like you don't know what you're doing. I know I've completely derailed the conversation. We can bring it back. But
Yeah, let's bring it back. Before
Yes.
we bring it back, I want to bring up Kevin as well. Kevin, how are you doing, brother? Throwing him
What
on
is
the
up?
spot.
And he's gone.
muted.
And he's gone.
No,
Mike.
I'm still here. No, I'm still here. My mic was muted. Still, I left. I contributed to Dallas's Lost and Found with my headphones. So if I've got a reverb or a echo, let me know.
It sounds
You're
pretty
good, man.
good.
You know what?
But yeah,
Speaking of,
let's
oh, go ahead.
go ahead, Darren. You're good.
I was going to segue and say, speaking of courses, you guys went to one of the master events of like one of the OGs in the space himself. I know that's not the core topic here, but I think it largely ties in. If you guys want to take a couple minutes and kind of share that experience.
Yeah.
Well, me and Bentley have been trying to link up to figure out to do a podcast to tell you about the experience for Tony Robbins. It was it's not life changing for me. I'm not going to delve into it right now, but it was life altering. It's the experience and the motivation I got from it is top notch. But we did see some holes in the game, and I think Bentley will agree that if you're smarter than the average bear and not a sheeple, you're not going to drink the Kool-Aid, so to speak.
Yeah.
But
It's a sales pitch. It's a paid sales pitch, right?
It is. It is.
They've been
but-
running that model since the 90s. Other coaches too.
If,
Yeah.
if you go in there with
It
an
works.
open mind like we did, we set separate. There was 4 of us there. Myself, Bentley, Justice, and Travis. We set separate so we could let ourselves go. and not be hindered by letting vulnerability get in the way, because just meeting in person, you might be a little bit scared to get emotional or dance or however you want to call it. But that's what I love about meeting Bentley. We're like-minded. We were able to get out of it what we needed to keep moving forward, and it's going to be great. And it's something that we're going to bring back to the Men of Now. I'll let Bentley elaborate on it, but the things we learned and the things we saw, it's just awesome to see 14,000 people get there and be nice to each other and just have a great time and learn.
Yeah, definitely. And that ties into what you guys were talking about earlier about how a lot of times at the courses, once you're out of the academia system, it is about the interaction of the other people that you're learning with. They are like-minded. So the great part is you get that opportunity to learn from other people, because everybody learns differently. And everybody will absorb things differently. So, like, for example, like Kevin said, we didn't exactly sit together. We haven't had a chance to have a great conversation yet, but we were at the same event, and I guarantee you, we experienced it differently. And that's the same thing when you're going through a course. You can take a course with somebody else, and he's going to understand something slightly different than you are, and you're going to understand it slightly different than someone else in the course. And when you talk and bounce the ideas together, they will start to fill in the gaps that you didn't realize that you had, and you'll do the same for them. So you actually amplify the experience by taking advantage of communicating with the other people that you're in the class with. If you're hyper focused of, I only want to talk to the instructor and nobody else in here matters. When you talk to the instructor, you're hearing everything back again through your own ears, and you're not getting that additional input, and you're losing out on that valuable extra information.
Yeah,
That
I've learned
is
the
so
most from
cool.
people
Yeah, sorry.
in community. Like it's been crazy just talking to you guys. Like that's how I've learned more living within a half than I would if I've spent $300,000 on courses, because you get that live in-person feedback, you get the action, you put things into action, and that's what I do like about Tony is he's a very like get it done, take action kind of guy.
Yeah, I think the most important thing of what you said is they will identify or at least make you realize gaps that you didn't even know you had. That is so true, and that's what's so unbelievable when you get more involved with others. Because if you hyper focus just on the information, okay, yes, maybe you can memorize the entire course. Hey, maybe you go through a course and you can then recite it back word for word. Hey, great, but you don't get the depth, you don't get the flavor, you don't get the color that you would get if you're collaborating and understanding from a bunch of different mindsets.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So speaking of courses,
Yeah.
if I
can I just say something real quick? Bentley, your hair looks great. You get the
we hit the barber down in Dallas. So.
Oh, nice.
Nah,
Yeah,
it looks great. I like that new look on you. I know you like the messed up look and it works for you, but what you've got going right now, from man to man, that looks great.
It's kind of like an in-between, though. I think it looks great too. It's kind of an in-between of the messy and a little bit cleaner.
Yeah,
it's like a perm, a modern perm.
Yeah, guys, check out my perm.
I've had
it's called
it
a permanent.
Since, yeah, exactly. I had it since birth. It's always been there. It's always been curly.
No, but I mean, a good thing about it, like I was listening on just the YouTube cast earlier because I was meal prepping and doing my Sunday shit. Talking about, going to university and all that kind of stuff. You almost need that today just to show that you can finish something. But what I put in there is, education doesn't equate to intelligence. And that's what a lot of people get, especially young people, get misunderstood nowadays, is I've got to get a PhD or I got to get a master's in this, underwater firefighting to get a job. But I have a bachelor's in business. That's as far as I went with it. And that was almost 15 years ago when I finished that. But anything I learned in school didn't teach me what I do on the job now. So and that's the main
I learned
thing.
my job doing the job.
Exactly. Or learning from other people like we have in the Men of Now right now, just to have a collaborative, intelligent discussion about other things that apply to our life. And we might not even know it applies to our life until we need it. But that's where you really learn. So online courses are far more beneficial than going to a university and, like you said, Jaron, paying $100 for the book and listening to something that you probably already know and really not learning anything but how to work for someone else.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and like you talked about, the ever evolving, and that's a big thing, is you go to university and a curriculum, or even just high school growing up, right? A curriculum is set and they follow it for like 8 years. Well, we all know the advancements of science, technology, everything nowadays, that nothing lasts for 8 years. So what you're learning is literally outdated. Whereas, in modern online courses that you take, is from people who are actually doing it, not just hired to teach it. And they have learned, and they're also largely, like, I know myself, I'm not here to talk about it, promote it, because it's not ready yet, but I'm putting together a course. And the one thing I know as somebody who's putting one together that hasn't got it finished yet is the more I put it together, the more I learn myself, which means I'm going to have even more to offer to the people that I'm teaching. So, whereas a curriculum to follow that, I'm one of those people who's blessed with a photographic memory. I did the Tony thing virtually back in March, and I could almost recite his speech when we were there last week in Dallas because I have that kind of a memory. Does that mean I actually have learned it? No, it was the interaction and it was the doing of stuff that helped me learn. So, the different styles, but something I'm really curious, Jaron, I know you said you're coming out with a course soon.
Yep.
Something part in your titles you guys had was, how do you evaluate what is a good course and what is a bad course? Because like you guys, I myself have invested an awful lot in myself, and you're correct on that. It is an investment in yourself to take courses and to learn things. You help yourself grow, you help yourself get ahead, even if it's not specifically professionally applicable. There's usually things that you can bring over and tie into it that are just going to enhance your life in general. But that's something that I have had a bit of trouble with myself. I've taken some very good courses and I've taken some very bad courses. Something I'd like to know from you guys is, how do I determine what is shit before I buy it?
Great question.
Yeah. There's a few things for me that really stand out. And it's like, one is the person that you're buying the course from, like an integral, honest human being. That's the first thing I look for. Like, is this someone I would want to hang out with and actually learn from? The second, and I mean, it kind of sums it up quick in my opinion, but you don't really know. And that, buying a course is a risk. You don't know if it's going to be crap. You don't know if it's going to change your life. So I think going in with the mindset that, even if it's not exactly what I want, what can I learn from it and make it worth my while? With the real estate course I bought, which was $5,600, I made $0 on houses. But if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have started doing YouTube full time. So I basically paid $5,600 to start doing YouTube. So it definitely paid off in other ways. Yeah, Jaron, any thoughts on that too? I know you're a big course guy as well.
Yeah, I think really, I mean, you already mentioned it. The course provider, does he or she know exactly what they're talking about? Is it someone, a group that I used to be involved with, the host of that group used to always say, is this someone I want to trade places with in this aspect of my life? So if you are going to invest in a fitness course, this guy better have a damn good physique. And I know, Joel, even you, like, for example, on the fitness side, you've been going through a bulk lately. I'm naturally bulky. I haven't done a bulk in years. So for me, like, you're doing a good job. You're actually having fantastic results. But even after that, after coaching you through that process, I wouldn't say I'm an expert on getting skinny guys muscular. I'm just following just a kind of a basic recipe. I know the ins and outs of the game, but I'm really good at getting guys to lose 100 pounds in the course of a year and then get them 6-packs and then keep that for the rest of their lives, because that's what I've done. That I've had all of those challenges. I've gone through all those struggles. I've gone through upgrading my mental processes and my internal self-negative talk, and then not identifying as a former fat kid and realizing, okay, I'm just a fit guy now. I've gone through all of that. So I'd say that I would be much more adept at doing that. Now, if you guys want to learn how to bulk, hit me up. I can run you through a basic framework, but I don't have the 20 years of experience of bulking. I think, Joe, when you came down and you told me your starting weight, I'm like, I haven't weighed that since I was 8 years old. So like, I can't really relate to you, but I know how the body works, and we can do some simple math. And you've seen me pull out the spreadsheets and the calculators. Like, this is your plan, and you're hitting your numbers exactly as the math told you should. That's why I'm so big on you tracking. But that's just one example on the finance thing. okay, this guy's some of this financial dream. How did this guy get rich? Was he already wealthy, or did he only get wealthy selling courses on how to get wealthy? We have to understand these things. And I'll even use myself as an example. I have a course coming out soon. We did a pre-kickoff call in the private community the other night. And one of the guys kept asking me questions all about day game. Well, what about day game? Or how do I approach? Or it's like, this isn't a day game course. It's a digital seduction system. So yes, if you get leads through day game, you will have to bring them online at some point, and then this will still help you out there. But I'm not an expert day gamer. I've sourced most of my girls through digital. Now, if you put me next to an average guy who has no game knowledge at all, same as the gym thing. If you put me next to a guy who's never had a nice physique, and then we're both coaching someone on how to bulk, my way will be better. Okay, someone who knows no game at all, I will still blow them out of the water for day game, but that is not my area of expertise. My area of expertise is everything digital. I've been a digital marketer my entire career. I've worked for some of the largest companies in the world, around the world, doing this, and I've applied the same methodology I do for names that you guys know and love and use every single day in your average, ordinary lives. I have had an impact on their digital marketing strategy. So I've applied that mentality to the online and the digital realm of seduction and put it into a course. And it works very, very well for me. Joel, you're a good example there. You said you don't do too much online dating. You source in other ways, but once you get the leads in, then you run them through my system, and you're churning out as much volume as I am. So really, it's really, where does the person's expertise lie? And a lot of times you'll get guys that say they know it all. That's usually a red flag too. I'll be the first to say I don't know it all. Buy my course, take whatever you need, internalize it, use it, and then the rest might not work for you, and then completely discard it. If you don't want to bang 100 new chicks in 1 year, you don't have to do that. But you're still going to learn a thing or two, learning how that's done if you want to get that wife at the end of the day. So it's really about going after what it is that you're looking to get very niche about it. Okay, is this person someone that I want to emulate? Do they have the records or the receipts or the success to show it? And pull the plug and go for it. But if they're not getting the exact results you want, then I'd say, maybe save your money for another day.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. I want to hop in here. Just a couple things I wrote down real quick that I think are key. We've kind of already touched on it. Both of you touched on it very much in depth. Vetting the instructor. Now, a lot of times the person, like people that sell online courses, a lot of times they do have YouTube channels or some type of social media presence. So that means take the time to go ahead and watch their content and see if you align with what they're saying and see if you can poke holes in any of it. I mean, that's the most important thing, because if you can poke holes in it, then why would you want to give them money? Exactly as Jaron said, if they come across and they're like, oh yeah, I know it all, red flag, because we all have faults. Secondly, after spending that due diligence vetting the instructor, you got to look at what's actually being offered. Like what Joel was saying earlier with the real estate course, he thought he was getting one-on-one personalized coaching from the instructor. No, it was group coaching, but with one instructor. So it's a little bit different. and on top of that too, that yeah, if you live in LA, this course is a great investment for you. If you don't live in LA, well, why'd you buy the course? Well, I didn't know. So it's like that type of stuff. So know exactly what is being offered and what you're going to get out of the course. Now, third, break down the cost. Okay. This one is so important to me that we don't think about. So, for example, let's take Jaron's course. And Jaron, I do want you to go deeper into detail about this course at some point, because I've been through it. Joel's been through it. This thing is awesome. I'm like actually jealous because I've been wanting to make something like this for so long, and you just hit the nail on the head. And now I need to do something different.
And I still feel like it needs more. Like every time a new girl comes in, I'm constantly, here's one too. It's constantly reiterating, which we touched on earlier. I'm constantly learning new stuff. So the course is out there. It did refresh me, got me back to basics. That was fantastic for me as well. But when a new girl comes in the door, there's things like, shit, I didn't put that in the course. Oh, new revelation. So it feels like this is just a starting point. There will be new releases of this as I learn more too.
Awesome.
So before you go into that, I just want to say too, one thing we learned from Tony, and one of the biggest things that I grabbed from that, is modeling and mimicking is not a business sin. You find somebody that has done it before and you capitalize on that and you use their system. You have an audience that I don't have. Jaron has an audience that Billy doesn't have. Joel has an audience that you don't have. So there's no reason, there's no wrong in mimicking and modeling that and capitalizing on that. So,
and learn from their mistakes too. Going back to the instructor thing, if they don't admit their mistakes, no one is just born an expert on a very niche topic. So my course I go through is like, guys, don't do this. Do you know why not to do this? Well, here's a story. Here's a learning experience. This was quite embarrassing for me. I don't want this to happen to you. So learn. I've already suffered the pain. Let me keep it with me, and then we'll prevent you from doing that. So learn from my mistakes. If you can learn from others' mistakes, you're well ahead of the curve. So I think a good course also. I think that. Yeah, I like to hear that.
Hey, I would agree with him. I would agree with him. You
I
really
would too.
I wanted to interject that right now because that's one of the main things that I got out of Tony. Because when you think of starting your own business, I got to reinvent the wheel. I got to do this. But he is a big proponent of mimicking and modeling someone else that have already done it, and then just make it your own. So, So like you said, I want to. You did what I wanted to do. Well, fuck, we're all brothers here. So you got an audience bigger than
Well, I was saying it in jest. I was saying it in jest. I'm still going to be doing all that type of stuff, but it just goes to show, and then that's what I was trying to exemplify there. Jaron really put way more time into this than I thought he was going to.
I'm a couple hundred hours into it, and there's still more.
Even with that, he wants to do more, and he's still identifying stuff that he can add. And it's like, how do you compare? Well, again,
don't use Google Translate to dirty talk a girl in a second language, Joel.
Yeah, Joel.
Come on, man. You're my.
Although that same girl, you got bass to mouth, so
came full circle.
It worked. You recovered.
We recovered.
All right, let's bring it back.
Yeah,
let's bring it back. So what I really want to focus on here is breaking down the cost and what does that mean. So let's take Jaron's course, for example. This course is going to take you from A to Z when it comes to doing this whole dating thing, especially when it comes to digital dating, any type of dating apps, or even if you meet them out and about, it's always going to transition to digital. So he's going to teach you how that all works. Now, if you're going out there and you're going on these dates, and let's say you're going on these dinner dates or even just drink dates or whatever it may be, you're spending a lot of money and you're not successful. So let's say you're taking girls out to dinner. It could easily be a $100 night. Now, you do that over and over again, that money adds up. So if you can invest in yourself, and let's say you buy a $1,000 course, well, that is 10 failed dates. And if you can take that number down to maybe out of 10 dates, one is a failure, all because you invested in yourself. Well, think about how much money and time you now are saving moving forward. And I don't think a lot of us tend to look at it that way, because when we look at something, we just look at the full price. We see $1,000. Well, that's a lot of money. Like, is it really worth it? But you're not paying attention to the fact that, well, I'm consistently failing in this area and burning through hundreds of dollars a month on failed dates. If I go ahead and just spend the time, invest in myself, learn and do the work, then I will no longer be wasting that money. And that investment then actually, gets rid of that negative item on my balance sheet every single month.
Yeah.
So I think that breaking down the cost is a super important thing to do. If you're super analytical like me and you want to break that down on like money wasted, what I can gain from this, what my next year would look like. I mean, Jaron, you're probably selling this thing for too low, like based on that. But that's a good determinant with any type of course. I always look at it that way. Like, if I go ahead and invest in this, take it seriously, what is my next year going to look like and then beyond? And if it's a positive, then I'm all in. It makes perfect sense for me to go ahead and be all in this course.
And do that what you just said, write out how much you're actually spending. And it might be very painful. It might be a huge awakening. Like, holy crap. And we'll give you a little nugget here. You don't have to spend $1 on a date. You don't have to. So
nope.
That's
straight to the house.
Freebie, but
or even I was thinking before I started the straight to the house model, it was meet up for a coffee. So less than $10. You can get it down to 15 minutes. That's just kind of like the sniff test. And then you can bring her to the house. And this course goes over, like Hud said, it's from A to Z. So it's about building an entire framework. So guys that drop the ball later in the game, say, oh, well, the girl came over to my house and I tried to kiss her and she freaked out and left. That means you made a mistake way early on in the process. Like, that stuff doesn't happen to me anymore. I start framing the interaction from the very first touch point. Treat it like marketing and sales. From the very first interaction, I plant the seed and I'm just giving it life and then helping her get out of her way in her head to where magic can happen later in the evening. So it's an entire framework. We had guys on the pre-call the other night. Maybe I don't need a style guide. Okay, cool. You can skip that module. Still go over it. There might be some good stuff there. Hey, I don't know, my hygiene's on point. Well, it might not be. You know, a lot of guys think they're good. And then little things like if you have dirt under your fingernails, guess what? Your finger's not going inside of her. So like little things that guys don't even know. It covers everything. It's extremely comprehensive. And guys that have been following me for my free stuff, I've been on there now for a few years. You know, I'm very comprehensive. I'll get asked a question and in my head, 5 minutes, we'll take 5 minutes to explain it. 3 hours go by and like, all right, there's a thesis. So this course is no different. You get a lot of information in there.
I went through it and it was so comprehensive. And I think the key, like coming full circle, like I put the action in and what Jaron was teaching me right away. I didn't say, maybe I'll try that in a couple of weeks. It was immediate. And that meant immediate results too. The texting game, the learning how to escalate on dates, the learning how to really, and what I really liked about this course is that, and Jaron, the way you talk about it is that you say it in such a nonchalant way that it makes all these things that almost can seem taboo, just like normal, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, whatever. It's like
girls like their asses getting eaten. Like everyone knows that. If you don't know that, then your bedroom game's behind. Sorry.
Yeah, you never know.
Sorry, you're not going to get the girl. She likes that. She likes being choked. She likes being slapped. She likes it when you open her mouth and fucking spit in it. If you're not doing that, then you're out of the game. Period. Don't worry, a guy like me will get her from you.
Well,
and it is nonchalant because I have the experience. Everyone knows this who gets laid. If you don't know this, then you need some experience. And that's why I'm offering you a framework upon which to start. You don't have to make it 100% your own, but it'll get you leaps and bounds ahead of where you are because it's an integrated framework and it's a new operating system. And I also tackle a lot of other beliefs too. There's a whole module on hygiene when it comes to the bedroom game. A lot of guys get really wrapped up around that topic. They bring a lot of negative energy in their interactions. Like, oh, what if she's not dirty? What if she has this? What if I get something? Okay, well, that's a childish way of looking at it. It's just like you prevent it, and then if you do get something, you treat it just like a cold. Guess what the most common STD is, guys? The common cold. I never get any nasty, drippy shit or burny shit ever, but I get little sniffles and I get a cough every now and then. Guess what? If a cold's going around and you're dating multiple girls, probably going to get a cold. That's an STD. So it's really about reshifting your mental framework too from the get-go. A lot of guys come in, every girl has to be wife material. No, she doesn't. Some girls just want to have a good time. Be the guy to give her a good time and then put her in your roster as such. Don't take her seriously. Don't put a ring on her finger if she's, the town choo-choo train, let's so to speak, but you can still have a good time. You can offer girls good experiences, blow their minds, things like referral game. That was new to me. I've only been doing that for a couple of years. I learned that from Caleb Jones. Hey, if you blow a girl's mind, guess what? She will throw her friends your way. Mind blown. I didn't know that. So all of these revelations I've come up with over the years, I'm saving that all from you. I'm saving you all the heartache, all the failures, all the failed dates, all of the thousands. I think before I got this, I'd spent tens of thousands of dollars on girls and even the lost opportunity costs. I got into a very nice Ivy League school for my undergrad, and I went to a state school because my high school girlfriend couldn't get into a good school. Imagine where my life would be had I not done that, had I known better. So this course will help streamline all of those processes. It'll completely prevent, not 100% prevent. I can't guarantee that for you because some guys, they'll take information and not use it, but it'll save you a lot of headaches, a lot of heartaches, and a lot of money. And then you'll have a lot of fun. And then Joel, you can attest to that. Like when you have new revelations or girls are going nuts over you and their friggin' eyes are popping out of their head. And you come out of your room all the time and tell me stuff. Oh my God, I didn't realize that. That's nice. It's really nice for women to be not only drawn to you, not only to fall in love with you, but to be completely obsessed with you and intoxicated by your male presence. That's what we really all want at the end of the day. And that's precisely why I came to these spaces. The reason I'm starting to graduate from these types of topics is because I have it down. And I want to share that with you.
And that's how it should be too. I mean, you tapped on a little bit. I've been with some girls that I've known, it's probably been ran through 50 other guys. But when I got a hold of them and dominated them in bed, they fucking loved it. Bentley met me. He knows I'm not a tall guy, but I'm buff as fuck. I'm confident as shit. I don't really let my height get in my way of that. But
yeah, they don't care.
Yeah, they don't
It's
care.
all about the vibe.
Yeah, as long as you present yourself as the man. I mean, fortunately, Bentley was a good wingman and didn't let me go home with a very large black girl. That
You'll get him in the South.
I mean, we're gonna have to edit that, but
Hey,
you're fine.
And in all fairness,
Going back
I
to
fell out of the
something
bar
that
that night.
touched on, about the ROI, and that's what you get at online courses. It's return on investment. You got to pay a little bit of money, but go in there with an open mind and get out of it what you need. Don't think that somebody's going to say something that's going to change your fucking life, because it's not. We're all intelligent men, especially in the men of now. We're all intelligent, accomplished men. So you go in with an open mind and you pay some money, but you get out of it what you need, like me and Bentley and Justice and Travis did out of Tony. We saw some bullshit, but we didn't let that cloud our total experience. We still got to have what we needed, and that's what it's all. It's ROI is the best thing that you can get out from an online course. Anything you take, get your return on investment. And if you can't do that, maybe you need to go back to something elementary of one teacher that doesn't know what he's doing, a finance coach that's broke, like you said earlier. Maybe that's what you need. But here in the minute now, and especially in this group we have, we're all above average IQ guys. So you can go with an open mind and get out of it what you need and leave the bullshit and not let that affect you, and just get out of it what you need. That's the best thing you can get out of an online course, in my opinion.
Yeah, and going back to the ROI question, my course, we'll get into the price point here in a second, but HUD's brought up a good point. All the money I spent to learn this stuff, my brain likes to work in the background. That just gives me a number, but the number it gives me, and usually when I go back and actually do the real calculations, my intuition is right on. So the number popped in my head is around $300,000. It's probably the money I've spent my entire life chasing chicks. That does involve lost opportunity costs, where I'm at a work function and rather than go out to drinks with clients, I'm trying to, I'm taking some chick from the bar upstairs and potentially lost a deal. Like any little thing like that. Any of the little headaches, a girl I get in the Uber and then I don't have the direct communication number to the Uber. So he goes to the wrong address and then the Uber shows up. The girl's texting me, hey, where are you? Hey, I'm standing out front of my house. Where are you? She gets sketched out. She goes home. She blocks me. I spent that entire night, went and got a 6-pack of beer, was really looking forward to that date. I was in El Salvador for that one. Took a 6-pack of beer, downed them, laid on bed, felt like a fucking idiot. That was a layup. That was in my lap. I lost it. The other night on that kickoff call, something similar happened. Some girl's like, hey, I'm ready for my Uber. I was on the call using my camera as a webcam. So I got back to her 20 minutes later. She's like, oh, yeah, no, I went somewhere. I went and decided to do something else. Like, you can't, like, that close, like, in the 7th inning, and I lost the game. So those mistakes still happen. So learn from all of those mistakes, all the money I've spent. Go ahead and get the course and then just bypass all that stuff. You don't have to, unless you want to go through the heartache, unless you want to go through 20 years of trying to figure it out and hundreds of thousands of dollars. You can do that, but my way is a lot easier.
That was a tough one to watch. That 10-minute window.
The 10-minute gap. Yeah.
10-minute gap.
It's like, I don't need an Uber anymore. Oh, cool. You're on the way. Oh, no, I'm doing something else. Like, damn it. She'll come through this.
Who knows, man? Maybe she would. Yeah. She would have given you a cold. Yeah,
right. I am kind of stuffed up.
Always find the positive in everything.
We have cold nights here and hot days, so like that temperature exchange kind of stuff.
I was in Ecuador 2 years ago with a chick I was banging, and yeah, it's cold every night, and then 75 during the day. It's the same where you're at Mexico. I'm
just pouring sweat underneath my armpits and from behind my knees, and it's not temperature wise too hot. It's probably 85 degrees, 27 to 30 in centigrade. But I'm on a high floor and we're 1.5 miles above sea level. So it's just straight sun just cooking you.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. That altitude changes the radiation you hit. So
it makes it
like that.
I'm red all the time. People always ask me like, oh, you do a lot of tanning. Like, no, I just sit here and work. It's my tanning bed.
So tell us a little more about your course, Jaron.
Don't mind if I do. So the course is 9 total modules. There is a 10th module, which is really just wrapping it up. Again, it is more of a system. It is a framework. Guys have known me for a while. I am a systems and structures guy. And we break it into 3 bundles, really. So the first one is setting yourself up for success. This really has nothing to do with dating tactics or anything. It's just getting your mind right. So the first module is what do you want from your dating life? A lot of guys don't know that question. They'll book coaching calls with me, say, I want my dating life to be better. Okay, cool. What does that look like? Like, well, how are you gonna have success if you don't know what that looks like? So we have to start there. Module 1 also starts with undoing a lot of the societal programming, some of that blue pill kind of Disney fairy tale fantasy stuff in your head. You got to get rid of that, and you got to replace it with a better model. We do live in the modern world. Guess what? What you think the world should be like, that never existed. 1950s TradCon America, that doesn't exist. My grandparents were stepping outside of marriages. Your grandparents were doing the same thing. They just didn't have the internet back then, so they didn't get caught. DNA testing, 23andMe has showed that that is a bunch of bullshit. So you are operating on a system that not only doesn't work in the modern world, but it never worked at any point in human history. So number 1 is really just getting your mind right. Number 2 module, it's going for the goal. I go over all of the different relationship structures and then how you can create the one that works best for you. So a lot of guys say, hey, I want a full-time girlfriend. I think Joel said something like that too when he came down here. And then he realized, hey, you know what? Having a main chick with a couple side chicks, like that's actually nice because I can diversify the risk. It prevents me from getting one-nightus. If the main chick can't do something, my night's not shot. I can go do something with someone else. And that also brings in competition anxiety. That's kind of how I run my dating life. And the reason is because I tried all the models and I just do what works. It's the same in my fitness life. I know that's not the topic, but I've done every diet. I've done every routine. I've done every eating protocol. I've done every supplement on the market and I just do what works. And it's no different for dating. So number 2 is really about understanding the different relationship types and then setting up an initial structure that you're going to go for. Now, later on in the course, we will refine that as you start getting new data points coming in the system. Module number 3 is all about your male makeover. So it doesn't matter if you're doing day gaming, night gaming, social game, referral game, what have you. At some point, it will go digital. You will have to have a good Instagram. You will have to have good dating profile photos. Even if you don't do that, you should have good photos, period, online, because people are going to look you up and you need to present the best digital form of yourself as possible. So number 3, we're still in the analog world here, but it's really about crafting your own personalized masculine style and maximizing your features for you. We do touch a little bit on like, sample gym routines, some sample diets and stuff like that, basic fashion type stuff. Hygiene is a huge one. So get your skin nice, get your nails nice, get your hair nice, get all of that done. Now, you get a lot of guys, they'll say, oh, well, if I were just an inch taller, then I'd be fucking swimming in puss. No, you wouldn't. There's not one single thing that's going to just get you to the next level, but it's a bunch of little things when put together right, they're really going to give you a fighting chance and get you ahead of the competition. And girls notice these details. So that's the first module. It's before we even touch online stuff, it's about getting you right. Now, the bundle number 2 is a dating app mastery package. So this is where we start getting into apps. Module number 4, that's really all about what apps do you use? There's different apps that work better in different markets for different demographics. In the previous bundle, we defined what kind of girl you want, what you want your dating life to look like. So from a digital marketing sense, you want to put yourself out there in front of the market you're looking to attract. If you're not going to go fishing, so to speak, for a bunch of single moms that live in single wide trailers in the middle of buttfuck nowhere USA, maybe Plenty of Fish isn't for you. If you're abroad, then guess what? Hinge and Bumble, they might not even exist there if they don't have certain operating systems. So we really get into, it's more of a technical breakdown as far as like what all the apps offer, what the features are, who's on the apps, and then a strategy for going about selecting the apps initially, choosing which ones to go premium on, and then really dialing in what works best for you so we can take more of a sniper approach. I run more of a volume model traditionally in my dating life, but I'm starting to take more of a sniper approach as I'm getting more experience. So again, I just share the framework with you guys that I do exactly for me, and it's worked very, very well. Again, Joel can attest to that. Module number 5 is do it for the gram. So that is Instagram. You know what, guys? I can probably just share my screen here, so we can.
Sure. Yeah. If you want to share a little bit more about it, we're not just to let everybody know. Jaren's launching this. Yeah, you can show that. That's all good. Jaren's launching this, so this is not yet available. But Jaren will be launching it this week. So definitely stay tuned once everything is live. It's going to be very exciting. We've got a lot of different shows and stuff that are going to dive a little bit deeper into certain segments. But this is kind of how it breaks down, and I'll let you take it from there.
Yep. So do it for the gram is module number 5. Guys, you have to have an Instagram if you're doing digital dating. Even if you're the type of guy, I just want to meet girls in real life. Guess what? At some point, you're going to go on Instagram. Now, if you're dating older girls, then maybe not. But a lot of guys, if we're being honest, they want to date young, attractive girls. Guess what? If the girl was born after the year 2000, that generation literally believes that if it's not on the internet, it doesn't exist. So you can exist in her real life. You can get her tingles going. You can get the number or whatever, but she's going to forget about you because she's likely online. And you don't want that to be done. So number 5 is about how to set up your Instagram, how to optimize it. Again, features and functionalities of the app from a more technical standpoint, and then more of a content production and management schedule for how you use Instagram. And there's a bonus video in that module too for how alphas use Instagram to get inbound DMs. There's a bunch of tricks I do. I'll give one right now. Anytime, if you guys follow my private or my personal Instagram, if you see a panning shot of a sunset with some cool EDM music in the background, that's because I don't have a date for the night. Every time I do that, I get at least 3 to 4 inbound DMs. It's usually 5 to 6. Sometimes it's up to 10 or 12. If it's about to rain and all of a sudden, guess what? When it rains where I live, no one wants to go out. If it's about to rain, I can get up to a dozen inbound potential leads for hooking up that night. So there's reasons you do the things you do. And then that goes, number 5 goes more into strategy, more advanced strategy, how to use Instagram as a dating app. You'll also build out your Instagram. I skirted over this, but module number 3, he's got the look. We're going to teach you how to find a professional photographer, how to schedule it, how to dress for the occasion, a week out, how to like physically do everything so you look like a damn model, some basic poses. Guys, trust me, I'm terrible at posing. I look like I have an extra chromosome in most of my photos, but if I get a roll of 300 photos, there's going to be 10 really good ones in there. And those are the ones we care about. So we'll go through all that too before we get you on Instagram. Module number 6, swipe right. That is a swiping strategy. Best times to find girls online, how to swipe them, how to optimize your chances for getting matches. Little things that guys don't know, like, oh, I have a match. I shouldn't respond to her now because I'll be too eager. No, that's stupid advice. She's on the app. You want to get her off the app as fast as possible. So it talks all about the swiping strategy. The goal of a dating app is to get her off the app and onto Instagram and or text or WhatsApp as fast as possible, and then set the date as fast as possible. You have to get her from the digital world into the analog world and blow her mind in the analog world. Otherwise, you're just pixels on a screen. So this is why this is a digital seduction course. But the goal is for you not to have a text relationship or digital sugar baby type thing. None of that shit. The goal is for you to get the girl in real life and keep her in real life. But we're in the modern world. You have to do that digitally at some point. So number 6, swipe right tells you exactly how to get her off the app into your Instagram and or texting inbox, and actually in person, and hopefully off of the app for good if that's what you're looking for. Number 7, now this goes into bundle number 3. This is all about closing. So we already know, we know how to put your best image together in the physical world. We know how to translate that to the digital world. We know how to find women in the digital world and bring them back to the analog world. And then number 3 is all about, what do you do? Now she shows up, whether it's straight to the house, coffee date at a park, whether it's a drink date, whatever your structure is. And this is all personalized to you. I share my blueprint along the way, but at each little junction, I tell you, okay, these are the options many guys do. Here's what I used to do. Here's what I've tried. Here's what works. Here's what doesn't work. Here's what I do. Here's why I do what I do. But it's all entirely up to you. We all live different situations. We all have different goals in our dating lives. But number 7, penthouse proper. Doesn't matter what your structure looks like. You have to have a nice house. You have to have a clean house. You can't, I mean, if you want to do like the college frat boy game, that's fine, but you're not going to keep the girls around, especially for you older, more seasoned gentlemen. So number 7 is getting your house adult. I like, they use the term child proof. This is getting your house adult proof. How do you make your house adult friendly? And you guys know exactly where I'm going there. So it's just really a checklist, a complete breakdown of how to set the vibe. Because again, you get to the point in the process where, let's say you're having a hard time getting matches on the apps. Well, then you're good. All of a sudden you're getting matches, but maybe you're not good at opening. Maybe you're not good at getting numbers. Then you figure that out. You can get numbers, but you can't get dates. So this is a progression that keeps building upon itself. And I'll tell you what, it definitely sucks. It doesn't happen much anymore. If you're doing all the other things right, the minute that girl crosses the threshold of your house, it should be a guarantee that you're getting laid. Now, there's no guarantees in the game, but it should be a very, very high conversion percentage because you've done everything right on the front end. However, there have been times in my dating life where maybe I had a little kink on the front end, and then she gets to the house and it doesn't happen. You're like, so close. I was right there. She's in the bed. As you're taking off her panties. Oh, I don't think I should. And then she turns around and gets ready to go. That's happened before. And guys, if that's happened to you, that sucks. There's a reason that happened. You screwed up somewhere earlier in the sequence. And it could be little things. Penthouse proper goes into this. If she comes in and there's cum stains on your bed, or there's condom wrappers in the garbage, or there's wads of girls' hair all over, that could be all it takes for her to think, you know what, I don't want to be just another one of those girls. Or, oh, I was kind of liking you on the date. I was vibing you, but this is kind of gross. You don't want to give her any excuse to reject you, especially once you get into her house. So number 7 addresses all that stuff. Hygiene is a huge one too. I'm a huge proponent of playing safe. Now, that doesn't mean you necessarily have to wrap it up. There's a whole video within a module of, as far as the risk versus reward type thing on there, how to mitigate those risks. I'm not advocating. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just presenting the options and then how to go about making the best decision for yourself. So that is all broken down in Penthouse proper. Number 8, how to meet your match. That's just how to run a date. How do you greet her? How do you walk her through a door? How do you sit her down? Same side of the booth, across the booth. There's considerations for that. How do you drink? Do you not drink? What do you do logistics wise? All of these things, again, a lot of little hangups and hiccups that I've come over in my own dating life. And I have a lot of coaching clients, lessons I've learned from other people. I apply my own advice to myself. Hey, if someone has a very painful lesson they share with me, I'll just go ahead and take that lesson from them too. It's a lot easier than having to do that myself. So meet your match is exactly how to execute a date, how to escalate on a date, how to build attraction. And again, guys, you've been building attraction from the previous modules. When we set up your dating apps, they are set up to build attraction. That flows through to your Instagram. That is optimized to continue escalating and building attraction. So by the time you get on the date, it should be already in the bag at that point. But for a lot of guys, it's not. You still need a framework if you don't have that. So I use what I call the escalation ladder of force, so to speak. So any of you Second Amendment guys, law enforcement, military guys, like the escalation of force. I do the same thing, but it's the escalation of attraction. So same model. We run that in number 8, meet your match. That's just how to run a date, how to make sure that you can pull from that date, or you plant the seed for future dates based on, again, how you want to structure your dating life. Maybe you want to do a second or third date close. Maybe you want to pull on the first date. I advocate effing them fast and furious because you get them in your frame faster, but that's just me. But you're gonna have this blueprint in front of you, and you're gonna look at the data as it comes through to determine what works, what doesn't work, and then dial it in for you. But meet your match is all about what do you do when you're face to face, and then how do you get her from, hey, I'm Jaron, or like, oh, nice to meet you, to your bedroom, essentially. And number 9 was my favorite module. Like, now you have her, you pulled her, it's ready to go. But you will be amazed at how many guys like, hey, I have a girl coming over right now. What do I do? They didn't think that far ahead. When I used to play American football, the coach would always say, through it, not to it, through it, not to it. Because if you see her coming up on the end zone, you'll start slowing down with 10 yards left, and someone's going to come from behind you and just fucking eat your lunch. You don't want that to happen in the dating game. And a lot of guys reach out to me because they dropped the ball. Like they were like my team, the Seahawks, years ago in the Super Bowl. 1 yard, first down, just give it to Marshawn Lynch. Nope, can't do it. Have to fucking lose the Super Bowl. Guys do this all the time in the game. They reach out to me, emergency coaching. Oh my God, it was so good. I got the girl home. We were making out. She was rubbing the inside of my leg. I went to take her shirt off, and then I don't know, something happened, and then she just left, or she freaked out. You do not want that to happen. So now the girl's at your house. What do you do? And then not only what do you do, like for a lot of guys, I used to be this way too. It's just, oh, new notch. Like once I penetrated, oh, new notch in my head. Yeah, I got the lay. That doesn't work for me anymore. Just getting a lay alone does not do it for me. I have to have her laying on the bed, her eyes in the back of her head, her body twitching like she's having an exorcism, to the point where she's having concurring or reconcurring, cascading, just aftershock type orgasms, and where she's at the end just like, oh my God, like I can't move. I don't know what happened. Who are you? Witchcraft, devil, like you're bad for me, but I can't get enough of it. That is my goal in the game. And again, that might not be your goal. Maybe you just want to have vanilla missionary style sex and have the girl never call you back, and then you wonder why she went and banged a guy like me. That's cool. You get to design your own dating life. But if you want to get to that next level and you want to get there right now, then number 9, that module, my favorite, just completely blow her mind. And again, a lot of mindset stuff to get out of your own head. Oh, well, I shouldn't do that. That's not hygienic. Guess what? That's why in the previous module, we went into hygiene. You're both cleaned up. You have everything on tap for if anything happens. You are playing safe. And when doing so, those mental hangups go away. You get to just bring your full raw sexual energy to the table, and she does the same. And guys, if you've never done that before, you do not know what you're missing. And if you're able to allow a woman to be 100% safe and open with you sexually, and she does not have to hold back, she's yours and she's not going anywhere. And that's what most guys want. This is what this system addresses. And then again, module number 10, it's not on here. It's just a series of wrap-up calls with me. We're going to dial in your process, wrap it all up, fill in any gaps, do any Q&As to see maybe there's something you uncovered that's not in the system. Guess what? I will rev that up. I'll do bonus videos for each module, and that will be a part of the system. So it's an ongoing process. I will continually reiterate this, but if you get in here, I mean, you get it all from scratch. And again, this is 20 years of me trying to figure it out on my own. I was the 100-pound overweight guy who couldn't get a prom date. And then now, this is not to brag, but the last 3 years, I've averaged triple-digit new lays per year. I've actually slowed down quite a bit because I'm getting a lot of girls I really like. And that's a hard place to be. And you're like, okay, well, this girl's really hot and I'd really like to bang her, but I really like this other girl too. And then another girl hits you up. Oh my God, well, this girl's hot too. So that's where you want to be. When you do actually have that abundance, it's not a mindset, it's actual abundance. Then that part of your life is taken care of. You never have to worry about it again. You don't lose sleep anymore. Joel's seen a couple times a girl flakes on me. I'm like, oh, thank God, I'm tired from last night's girl. Like, whoo, I get a full 8 hours of sleep. Or, oh, thank God, I can go for a walk. I can play guitar. I can do something for me, to the point where literally Joel, Mr. Addiction specialist there, to where, hey, I think I might be an intimacy addict. Like maybe I should intentionally like lay back on the volume. So that's where you guys want to be, and that's it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. It's launching here in a couple of days, and I'd love to get you in there and then get this part of your life solved for you.
Dude, that is
I told you last night, Jaron, I'm joining, buddy. I love getting you passionate, bro. you were. Oh, I love the passion, motivation. Man. That's great, guys.
Well, I have so many coaching clients that, like, you can tell they have these bullshit hangups in their head. It's not them. Like, oh, it's because I'm not tall enough. Oh, it's because I'm not the right race. I'm like, no, it's because you have a losing framework in your head, and we got to gut that out and then install a new one.
Yeah, living in rent free inside your own head, man.
Yeah.
Hey guys, great meeting. Love to do this. I got to roll. I live alone, so I got to do my own laundry and all that good stuff. But can't wait to take the course, Jaron. Huds, we already talked about. We're gonna talk about some few things. Bentley, great to see you, buddy. Great to meet you, man. We had a great time in Dallas. We're gonna put together a podcast to talk about our event and bring it to you guys and the Men of Now, and we're just gonna kill it. That's the best I can say.
Looking forward to it.
I'm excited.
Cool.
I'm excited, man. Thank you for hopping on. Really appreciate it.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good night, and I'll talk to all of you soon.
Yep. Take
Sounds
care.
good.
So one other thing that you'd mentioned earlier when we were talking about how do you decipher good courses from bad courses. So as someone who has taken a fair amount of courses and taken, like I said, some good, some bad, something that I will say is, as a course taker, part of helping yourself and fellow people who take courses decipher good from bad is some of the responsibility falls on you as a course taker. So when you take a really good course, leave a really good review that is really detailed and tells people what you got from the course, why you got it, and how you got it. That will help people be able to make good decisions. And if something wasn't good, leave that same review. Give the course presenter the opportunity to improve themselves. Because at the end of the day, if they're putting out a course, they probably want to put out something good. Some people don't, but most want to put out something good. So with that in mind, what I'm going to say is, full disclosure here, I actually know Jaron in real life. We've actually hung out a couple of times. He's a great guy. I personally don't have any trouble with dating. It's never been an issue in my life. But the one thing I can tell you is, anytime Jaron and I have gotten together and we talk about stuff, even though I've never had any troubles, I still learn things from him. And he's not kidding when he talks about a systematic approach, which is, you can tell with the way he's laid out this course, that it is all a systematic approach based on his marketing, and he knows this stuff. And don't kid yourself. I'm actually in the business of marketing as well. Business and business marketing is dating, and dating is marketing. You have to be able to sell yourself in order to get her to buy you. So Jaron knows marketing way better than I do. And so based on that, I know that he knows dating just as well, because marketing is literally a dance of business, the way that dating is a dance of people. So I can tell you right now that I haven't taken this course, but knowing Jaron like I do, I can tell you that he has put this thing together with great detail, and it will be of great quality.
We've hung out in Miami too, so this doesn't touch the Spanish thing. The next version will be how to game in Spanish, and that is my true area of expertise. In Miami, dude, no competition. White guy who speaks perfect Spanish. Exactly. You hear like fresh and fret guys. Oh, these 304s out in Miami, like, dude, this 19-year-old Venezuelan chick, like, fucking cleaning my table. No competition. No one can touch me. They don't speak Spanish like I do. Like, she's mine. Yeah. Anyone I want is mine.
And as someone who was hanging out with him in Miami, here's the one thing I can tell you. There wasn't a single girl that Jaron approached that he didn't get a number from, that he didn't have a conversation.
I did 100. Yeah, I went 14.
It was completely smooth, and you know, it really is. He's got it down to a science. And like I said, I don't have a problem with it. the worst part is most of them were Spanish, so I couldn't talk to them because I'm Canadian.
Jared, come translate. Like, no, I'll just take care of this. Like, I got it.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Jared, can you translate this for me? No, I'm going to take it. Thanks.
Yeah, I'll take it from here, and then I'm walking away with her. That actually happened in Cancun. Last time I went there, it was really funny. This South African guy, the older guy, hey, I really want to hit on this girl. Can you translate for me? And like the chick was all about me. I'm like, sorry, bro, she's mine. Like we were out of there.
I love that. That's absolutely fantastic. And that's so true. Like you've got this system, and that's what's so amazing. And I don't remember who first said it. Oh, it was Josh that first said it. You know, with Men of Now, we're all coming with so many different talents, and we bring the community the tools, but everybody's going to build something different. And that's exactly what you're providing here is you are providing the tools for dating, and everybody, and that's why you start from the beginning. Let's set your goals. Like what type of relationship you want, what type of girls are you looking for? Like, let's set that down first so that you can then use the tools to accomplish that goal. And I think it's all set up beautifully, perfectly, well organized, easy to understand. It may be an overload of information. Honestly, it is, but that's okay. And that's why it's spaced out. Yeah, and that's why it's yep, and that's why it's spaced out. That's why you're doing it in segments. Either go ahead and you buy the whole course and you've got everything in there, and that becomes because you're doing with each bundle essentially is 2 weeks of Zoom calls. So like you're going to get all the time in the world and all of the personalized advice from Jaron himself to then use those tools to build whatever life you want, whatever dating life you want from there. And that's what's so amazing about it. There will be not a single person that comes in there that becomes a carbon copy of you, Jaron. No. There may be some people who choose a similar life, but nobody will be a carbon copy because we are all unique and we all enjoy different things. But they're going to be able to reach that goal, and I think that's what's so exciting.
Yeah. Yep, it's a flexible. It's a flexible framework. So adapt it to your own needs, your own wants.
Yeah. I'll give a little review because I went through it from start to finish. I watched every single minute for a reason, but we'll keep that, behind the scenes here. But yeah, I did all the activities, and it really helped me see. I forgot about that first one, the activity of writing down what you really want. I've never done that, and I've never done it in a structured framework. So I saw, okay, this is what I want. This is why I want it. How can I get it? And oh yeah, if I switch my mindset instead of, oh, I hope I can get this one day, into I can have this like very soon, that was a huge game changer. And it really just, I'm not gonna lie, I had results immediately after I did that. You saw it, Jaron. I was like a week here, and then I did that activity, and then all of a sudden stuff started to happen because I finally identified what I wanted.
It only took you a couple of weeks to have a full rotation going.
Yeah, it fucking blew my mind, man. I used to pray for this. I was like, this can't be me. This is only like the elite of the elite, or you got to be white, or you have to be tall, or above 6 foot, or
that's all bullshit.
$1 million in the bank.
No, they don't care.
Yep. So, guys, fantastic course, and I'm super thankful that I got to go through it. And what I picked out, I'm kind of in that boat where I don't apply everything that goes on with Jaron's game. We have very different structures and we have very different goals. But I took a lot of the little details that helped in like the bedroom, for example. There's so many things. I feel so much more confident in the bedroom now because I learned like 4 things that I was like, I was completely oblivious to. And now I just like walk. I'm like, yeah, I know something that the other guys don't. Yep.
Yeah, I know something you don't know. Or little things like leaving the girl on red. Hey, she's being a pain in the ass. She's going to give me a bad attitude. No, don't answer her.
Yeah, I could.
She knows
I was never able to do that. You taught me that personally. I couldn't do that. I was like, dude, I'd be hurting her feelings. You're like, dude, she just like jerked your chain. What are you talking about?
Yeah, ignore her. She'll come back, right?
Yeah. It's like, what if a guy did that to you? It's like, oh yeah, I would be like, F off. I'm not talking to you again. But when a girl does it, it's like, oh my God, this is different. It's like
you do the same thing. You essentially tell him or you tell her to F off, but you do it covertly. Because women communicate covertly. There you go. See, all the pieces.
Yeah, just little things. And this course is full of these little tips and tricks, by the way.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'll let you guys wrap up. I just wanted to give that little comment of, like I said, I personally know Jaron, and I can tell you right now that the guy believes in what he talks about, and he walks his talk and backs it up. So
And if I miss something, we'll bring it up. We'll bring it up in the conversations, and I'll rev it up. We'll update it.
That's great.
Yep.
So anyhow, I'm going to bounce out, guys. Thanks a lot for having me on. I really appreciate it. Let me throw in a couple
Thanks,
pieces
Bentley.
here, and nice to see you guys again.
Take care, Bentley.
Good. Thanks,
Talk soon.
Bentley.
The last thing
yeah.
I'll touch on
Go
I'll
for
touch on one more thing is that I completely lost my train of thought. Okay, Hudson.
Oh, no, I was just
and that's
gonna
it.
say-
In one ear, out the other.
I
It's
was
gone.
just gonna say, I was just gonna say, like, you know, we're about at that time. I didn't think we were gonna go so deep into the course, but it's a really exciting time. We're still working behind the scenes to get everything finished, finalized, ready to go. But stay tuned for this week because Jaron's got some exciting shows coming up. We'll share even more information with you guys. And, you know, I would seriously encourage you to kind of like some of the things we were talking about before, deciding what a good course is. I kind of regret working with Jaron on setting the price at where we did because he has given more and is going to be giving more. I mean, you buy the full course, you get like over 60 hours worth of personalized Zoom calls. That's like ridiculous, especially when you look at like just what like coaching prices and time look like. But it's because he cares and he knows his stuff and he's ready to show the world that he knows his stuff. And I've gone through the course as somebody who's a dating coach myself. He knows what he's talking about, and it really is. It's comprehensive. Joel's gone through it. He's seen great success. So yeah, we're going to share even more details as things go on. But other than that, I think that this was a great show. I don't know if we even have to do a roundup. I'm just focused on this course, and I'm excited to launch it this week.
Yeah,
I think
you guys
the
have it.
last
Hit
thing
us up.
last thing I'll share is like, you know, what was nice where I am is I got to ask Jaron those questions, and that's the power of the webinar and being able to have those weekly meetings because you're gonna have stuff and you know you're gonna put it into practice and you might have a little question and then you can ask Jaron, so you get direct access to Jaron too, which is huge. So that's a huge part of it as well. So you can get your questions answered, right? And then you hop in the community maybe even too, and then you can ask any of us those questions too at any time of the day, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can because that's what the community is all about, is helping each other and just giving each other those nuggets of info so we don't have to make the mistakes that we made.
And the mistakes still happen. Joel, I've communicated a couple with you lately, like the little Uber thing. 10 minutes. Couldn't wait for 10 minutes. Oh, sorry, I made other plans. Like, no, all right, cool. But you get to the point that when the mistakes happen, you don't care anymore. You know why they happen, and you know the girl's not going anywhere. Like, okay, cool. Yep. Maybe she's out with another guy. He's not me. He's going to screw up, and then she'll be right back. Like, really? That's how it works. Yeah.
That's mouth chat.
Yeah. And that's a wrap.
Yeah, honest truth. But yeah, so guys, keep an eye out. Keep an eye out for this. There's going to be a lot of things going on. The course will open to the public on Wednesday night, but you'll see what we've got lined up over the next week here. So definitely get excited and weigh it out. And I would recommend get in there because this is going to be a one-stop shop. You get in there, you go through the course. You're never going to have to deal with this again in your life. You're going to conquer that problem, and then you can focus on everything else.
Yep. Or you have the course and you can just go back and, find the answers you need. You get lifetime access. It's not like it goes away.
Yeah, you get lifetime access. So yeah, when I add more stuff, every round, I'm sure I will add more videos because I'm always updating my own framework, and then I'll share that with you. So you get it. Get in early.
Yep. All right. Sounds good. Well, thank you guys. Thank you to everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. We'll see you next time.
Yep.
Adios.
Cheers.